This is Terry McEwen, Director of Assessment, Research, and School Improvement. I wanted to take just a few minutes of your time today to discuss with you an overview of the Kansas No Child Left Behind Flexibility Plan. Let's talk about why we have a flexibility plan, also known as the waiver. The U.S. Department of Education offered states the opportunity to apply for relief from specific provisions of No Child Left Behind because Congress has not yet reauthorized any version of an Elementary and Secondary Education Act. The provisions that we are actually waived from meeting right now refer to those things that said that we had to be 100% proficient by 2014. We now have the waiver approved, so what does that mean for us? It means that the waiver actually applies from the point of approval, which was July of 2012, through one of two possible future actions. One is that Congress would act and actually pass legislation similar to No Child Left Behind or some version of an Elementary and Secondary Education Act. The other would be that we get to 2014-15 where we will actually restart the clock on all of this because we will have new assessments in that year that are related to the Common Core state standards. Meanwhile, we are still accountable for student achievement. So how are we going to measure student achievement in this school year and perhaps in next school year? We are going to continue to use the current state assessments in reading and mathematics. Students in grades 3 through 8 and one time in high school will still continue to take the state assessments as we have known them since 2006. However, we will no longer hear AYP. Adequate Yearly Progress, or AYP, is not how we're going to measure performance starting now and going forward. We will be actually held accountable for annual measurable objectives, and we will talk more about those in detail in a future presentation. So no more AYP. We will also no longer hear 100% proficient by 2014, and we will no longer hear on improvement as related to a district or a school. So those three things will no longer be part of our vocabulary going forward. In order to get the waivers, the state had to meet two specific criteria. One was that they had to agree to implement the Common Core state standards in math and English language arts by 2013-14. The other is that they would implement the new Smarter Balanced assessment pieces by 2014-15. Both of those are on track to actually take place on time. So let's talk about timeline for just a minute. And this timeline actually came from the state website, and you can see that it goes across a variety of school years. Right now we are clearly in 2012-13, and in those years we are going to be maintaining the original 2006 state assessments. In the spring of 13 and probably going into 13-14, there will be development of additional resources that will lead to the Common Core state standards and to the new assessments. And then clearly by 14-15, we will be ready to roll out the new Common Core assessments in that school year. Meanwhile, in 2012-13 and perhaps 13-14, we must continue to meet the following criteria. 95% participation rate on the tests. Our elementary and middle schools must have a 90% attendance rate, and our senior high schools must have an 80% graduation rate. Let's sum up what we've talked about today. No more on improvement designations, no more AYP, but we will continue the state assessments for at least one more year. There'll be 4 ways to meet the performance goals, which will be called annual measurable objectives, and we will continue our work toward the implementation of the Kansas Common Core standard. In the interim, if you have any questions related to this or any other issues about assessment or research or school improvement, please feel free to call on me anytime, and I'll be glad to help you answer those questions. Meanwhile, thank you very much for your time today, and thank you for all you do for Lawrence kids.